There's a unique kind of exhaustion that comes from being entangled with a narcissist. It's not just emotional fatigue, it's soul weariness. It's the disorienting fog that settles in after months or even years of second-guessing reality, of walking on eggshells, of being baited, blamed, and broken down. Narcissists don't seek love. They seek control. They thrive on emotional chaos, crave power over the people around them, and use manipulation as their native language. But there is a way out. Not by shouting, not by fighting back, but by reclaiming calm. This calm is not weakness. It's the sharpest weapon a person can carry when dealing with a narcissist. It disarms, it protects, and sometimes it even humiliates the one who depends on control to feel powerful. This guide is a blueprint for those who are done being controlled, gaslighted, or diminished. It's a call to those who want to stop reacting and start responding with clarity, with strength, and most of all, with peace. 1. The neutral acknowledgement, denying the narcissist. Your energy. Narcissists are masters of provocation. They accuse, twist, insult, or gaslight, all designed to provoke an emotional reaction. They expect defense, justification, or outrage. These reactions feed their need for attention and control. Responding with neutral acknowledgement doesn't mean agreement. It means disconnection. A simple acknowledgement like, "You're allowed to see it that way," or "That's your view," denies the narcissist what they crave most, your emotional engagement. This neutral posture may feel unnatural at first. Every instinct may scream to defend the truth, to fight back against distortion. But this form of calm is not silence born of defeat. It is the silence of someone who is finally choosing self-respect over chaos. It says, "Your opinion doesn't shape my reality." 2. The unapologetic boundary, reclaiming your right to say no. Narcissists use charm, guilt, or pressure to push past boundaries. They expect compliance masked as politeness or guilt-induced agreement. The moment a firm but calm refusal is given, without justification, the power dynamic cracks. Saying, "That doesn't work for me," is not confrontation. It is clarity. It's not about defending the decision or softening the blow. It's about reinforcing sovereignty over time, energy, and emotional labor. Each time a person repeats this simple boundary, without emotion or apology, a new message is sent. Manipulation doesn't work here. The narcissist may react with anger, victimhood, or coldness. That response is proof that the boundary is working. 3. The weapon of silence, disarming through stillness. Silence, when intentional, is not passive. It is control. It's the refusal to participate in a script designed to trap, confuse, or exploit. Narcissists speak to dominate. They provoke to engage. They inflate to be admired or deflate to make others feel small. Intentional silence does not validate, explain, or comfort. It is not the silence of submission. It is the stillness of discernment. It leaves the narcissist without footing, without feedback. They spiral. Without reaction, they lose grip. In a world where narcissists manipulate through noise, silence becomes a power they cannot break. It's not an act of punishment. It's the removal of emotional access. It is saying, "You no longer have a claim to my peace." 4. The controlled curiosity, undermining their game. Narcissists depend on emotional cues to read and control others. They look for signs of confusion, hurt, anger, or adoration to adjust their approach. They twist reality, boast excessively, or play the misunderstood victim to test emotional responses. Responding with a flat, detached interesting, for instance, takes away the mirror they need to validate themselves. It sends no clues, no vulnerability, and no opening. This form of calm observation reclaims the emotional high ground. It breaks their rhythm and forces them into a position of uncertainty. It reminds them that not all people are available for their control. 5. Anchoring the conversation, breaking the cycle of deflection. In conversation with a narcissist, the topic often shifts, rapidly and strategically. When confronted, they divert. When held accountable, they resurrect past mistakes, cast doubt, or attack character. The phrase, "Let's focus on the issue at hand," or a variation of it, halts the spiral. It drags the spotlight back to where it belongs, the present, the truth, the boundary that was crossed. This approach is not emotional. It is surgical. It cuts through noise and manipulation. The narcissist may accuse the person of being rigid or controlling, but this is simply another deflection. Staying calm and steady in focus changes the rules of engagement. Over time, it teaches the narcissist that if they want engagement, it must happen within respectful, present moment terms. 6. The calm cutoff, removing fuel from the fire. Escalation is the narcissist's favorite game. They push until emotions erupt. Once a person yells, cries, or begs, control shifts back into their hands. Interrupting this cycle with calm detachment halts the entire performance, stating clearly that the conversation won't continue until things are calm isn't avoidance, it's protection. It's drawing a line between healthy engagement and emotional abuse. Walking away or going silent at that moment removes the emotional stage they need to perform. It says, "You don't get access to me when you're out of control." This method doesn't try to change the narcissist. It simply changes what access they have and under what conditions. 7. The quiet end, choosing peace over proving a point. There are times when there is nothing left to argue, explain, or clarify. The narcissist wants to bait, to provoke, to keep the argument going indefinitely. Responding with a calm, "Okay," is not surrender. It's surrendering the need to be understood by someone who is committed to misunderstanding. It is saying, "This conversation is over, not because I've lost, but because I've chosen peace." There is immense strength in knowing when to disengage, not out of weakness, but out of the refusal to live in a constant state of emotional exposure. Using "okay" in this context becomes an act of finality. It ends the exchange without giving them more control. It ends the emotional transaction before it bankrupts the soul, shifting the balance of power. Each of these responses is more than a communication tool. They are emotional boundaries, disguised as simple phrases. Used consistently, they begin to retrain both the narcissist and the survivor. They shift power away from the manipulator and return it to the person who once felt voiceless. But they require discipline. Narcissists will resist, escalate, or mock these boundaries. They will claim that calmness is cruelty or indifference. They will try to twist neutrality into coldness. That is their strategy. The truth is, healthy detachment feels threatening to someone who thrives on emotional chaos. But that's not your burden to carry anymore. Healing through calm. These responses are not about defeating the narcissist. They are about rescuing the person who once believed survival meant staying small, quiet, or agreeable. They are not tools of war, but instruments of freedom. Calmness is not submission. It's a reclaiming of space, of breath, of identity. It's what happens when survival transforms into clarity. For those who have lived under the emotional grip of a narcissist, these shifts may feel unnatural at first. The nervous system has been trained to brace for impact, to over-explain, to seek validation, but that programming can be unlearned. There is life after chaos. There is strength in stillness. There is a version of reality where your peace is not up for negotiation, and it begins with words, quiet ones, steady ones, the kind that don't just protect your energy, but remind you that you never needed to beg for safety in the first place. You are not who they said you were. Narcissistic abuse leaves invisible scars, doubt, fear, confusion, shame, but none of these are your identity. They are the residue of someone else's need for control. Every calm, clear boundary is a declaration. You no longer live in their version of reality. Every quiet, okay, every intentional silence, every refusal to justify. These are acts of reclaiming, of becoming untouchable, not through anger, but through grounded truth. Freedom doesn't always come with a fight. Sometimes it comes with a whisper, a pause, a single steady sentence that changes everything. You are not who they said you were. You are who you decide to become, starting now with calm.